Hello everyone, the December review here, back again, once again, with AJLT Season 3, Episode 8. As always, spoilers are ahead, so make sure to check out the show streaming exclusively on HBO Max. Okay, so another week in another episode, as Chapter 8 is here. I would categorize this one as don't blink or you might miss it. The runtime is noticeably shorter than all of the previous episodes, clocking in at basically 30 minutes of narrative. And what we do get is an upbeat episode, one that manages to hit every character nudging things along. I'll start like usual with Carrie and Aiden, as the episode opens up to Aiden back in New York, this time bringing a few extra heavy suitcases for an extended stay in the city. After spending the afternoon together, Aiden mentions that Wyatt has decided to start staying with his ex-wife Kathy, freeing him up for this long visit. After hearing this, Carrie decides last minute to cancel her writing session with Duncan so they can spend the evening together. First off, what's with Aiden continuing to shoehorn his news into these conversations this season? I get not wanting to mention his fling right off the bat, but coupled with this information, it's two recent situations where Carrie has had to ask why he didn't mention something sooner. Just makes Aiden seem like he's not as forthcoming as he used to be, holding back for reasons Carrie or the audience doesn't understand. And when did Carrie and Duncan exchanging first chapters morph into hour-long writing sessions? I don't mind the leap in storylines. It just can feel inconsistent or jumpy when some things are done in between episodes. Speaking of Duncan, Aiden asks Carrie if they should all head out for dinner together, to be neighborly, to which Carrie declines, and like with the Miranda dust-up last week, she got a bit defensive over all of it. Clearly there's a bit of jealousy, but certainly curiosity with Aiden here. Later on, he ends up asking Sema and Adam about him, and the conversation turns into a quick few awkward words. And moving on to Miranda, Joy stops by her new place for a drink and asks if it's okay if she leaves a bottle of gin there for future get-togethers. Miranda agrees, as Joy is apparently unaware of Miranda's struggles going back to Season 1. This ends up opening a door as Miranda really wants to start partaking again. She runs the news by Carrie and Charlotte, who suggest that she stay on the sober path. Miranda has mentally backtracked, looking to justify her issue by thinking that by divorcing Steve and meeting Che, that was the catalyst for her excess, which makes sense, but in reality, she is just using anything that she can to have another drink. The episode's best moment for me is Miranda at home going into the kitchen and opening the shelf where the bottle is at. After a long look, she decides to have a cookie instead. Side note here, she had Milano cookies in there. The mint Milanos are an all-time favorite of mine. If I'm opening up that cabinet, I'm taking out that whole bag in 5 minutes. Just saying. That urge to have a drink is the issue here, as the cookie just won't do. She ends up going back and pouring a glass, giving it a good once-over before tossing it down the sink. But that's just not going to cut it. She ends up opening up the cabinet again, this time grabbing the bottle and throwing it out into the building's trash. Problem solved, for now. Miranda basically needs to have a conversation with Joy, who I'm sure meant no harm and will be completely understanding. Miranda is just afraid of letting her know that she's sober, in fear that it will reflect bad on her. For me, this is pretty relatable. As someone who also doesn't drink, I thought this played out pretty realistically for someone in Miranda's position. It's all still new to her in many ways, and this is the first real challenge she has faced in regards to allowing herself to walk down the drinking road again. Overall, this scene was a bit tense and thankfully ended well for her. Things aren't exactly going that great though for Charlotte, who, while putting on a gallery exhibit, has a reoccurrence of vertigo. It's unfortunately mostly played for laughs and counterbalances Harry, who is now home resting after his surgery. I'm not sure if this is pointing to something down the line. We shall see. Sema and Adam are rolling along after last week's karaoke send-off. They end up having dinner where we learn a bit more about Adam and his proclivity to all natural deodorant. That mixed match between the two will be the driving force, I'm sure, for their relationship. Sema is the high-end luxury real estate agent, used to lavish surroundings and drivers. Adam is much more hands-on, earthy, crunchy, while still maintaining his New York City attitude and point of view. This should keep the comedy coming for some time, as the juxtaposition between them will be amusing, mixed with each one's penchant for sarcasm. Oh, good. More breaking news. Okay, let's throw it out to the December Reviews man on the street, Evan Evansley. Evan, what can you tell us about today's breaking news? This is Evan Evansley live at the December Reviews newsroom. Breaking news. Due to recent cutbacks, Silly Putty will now be 30% less silly. Back to you. Alrighty then. Lisa Todd continues her trek through her documentary, but her feelings for Marion are starting to become problematic. Though I must say Charlotte didn't help much here when the pair talked about it. Lisa ends up skipping Charlotte's gallery event to go to a movie with Marion, where afterwards they would be able to talk with a high-powered producer who might be able to assist in Lisa's project. And that all sounds well and good until Lisa panics during the movie and leaves early after already stumbling over things at home. But she's able to speak with that producer over the phone. Can't see this ending well for Lisa, depending on how far the writers want to take this. Lisa was introduced as a strong family and friend mentor, a successful, dependent, and driven director. With Marion in the mix, some of that strength seems to be slipping away. And Anthony gets a bit of screen time here with a quick scene where Giuseppe's mom continues her passive-aggressive attitude towards their relationship. Giuseppe suggests that Anthony has her over for dinner, just the two of them, so she can get to know the real him. I have a feeling that scene will be pretty funny. It was hard not to feel bad for Anthony last week while Gia was getting along with everybody but him. That increasing anxiety was palpable. She's obviously bringing her own baggage to the situation, one where her career also is making things difficult. I imagine they will eventually end up finding common ground, though it would be funny if they just never can make it work and she pops in from time to time just to make Anthony crazy.
What? I'm empathizing.
Next week brings us the long-awaited Aiden and Duncan interactions, which I'm sure will go very smoothly. We really haven't seen Carrie and Aiden find their own groove yet this season, and throwing Duncan into the mix sure won't be helping that out anytime soon. But for now, episode 8 was a short trip around the city block that seemed like a quick way just to spice things up while jumping ahead in a few storylines. There are 4 more episodes left, so we are hitting the final arc as we sprint towards the finish line for season 3. I'm hoping we can start to see some chemistry back between Carrie and Aiden. With how rocky their path has been since the end of last season, I'm assuming it's going to get even more difficult now. I've been waiting for a romantic, swept off your feet moment, but outside of just general excitement when they meet, it's mostly felt uninspiring. This isn't setting up to be like a big Aiden situation, at least not yet. We would need a few years worth of drama to get to that point, but the concept could be there depending on how everything evolves. Right now, it seems to me, it feels like a lot of what Carrie is doing seems to be pretty standoffish. Same for Aiden in many ways. There's a few missing pieces in this connection right now that the audience can see, even if they seem to be otherwise unaffected by how this season has gone. Well, for good or for bad, that will no doubt change soon enough.